In today's video, we are going over 41 challenges and violations, and it breaks down to 19 things you can dispute on an account, 11 credit bureau violations, and 11 creditor violations. We're starting with the problem, then I'm going to give you the dispute reasons, the bureau violations, creditor violations, and lastly, a quiz, because I want to make sure that you understand this so that you can capitalize and get your results. So I'm going to show you what can easily be disputed on your credit report, how to spot the violations, and like I said, we are going to also have a quiz. All right, so here is the problem. It has always been my professional and tested opinion that the biggest problem is understanding the difference between methods that put a temporary band-aid on and one that gets permanent fixes, right? You see, we don't want to use vague general disputes because, yeah, they can get results, but they're normally added back to the credit report quickly. And we don't want that. We do not want that. Do you really want to be checking your credit report every 5 days? And then questioning the existence of an account might actually be very easy for the bureaus or the furnisher to prove. So you don't want to make their job easier for them. And using the same dispute reason each time, like unverified, can get results, but you're more than likely to get a rejection for further investigation. And you can check out the description for the videos on this, where I break down why this happens and how to get around this, okay? You want to beat the system. We're not trying to fool it, we're trying to beat it and get results. And then a one-size-fits-all type of deal for disputes, it normally gets a response that is verified as accurate with no actual investigation, all right? So here's the solution, and it's the only solution. And I am very adamant about this. Factual-based disputes. Challenging other sections of the reporting can prove to be more difficult because, again, we're not making their job easy for the bureaus and furnishers than dealing with the general statements they normally get. What is so special about your disputes? If you can't really answer that, then you're not disputing the right way, okay? This is what I've been doing for each of my clients for 6.5 years, and what resulted in over 20,000 deletions in 2020 alone, okay? So now when you're constructing your disputes, my recommendation is keep it real. You can take this with a grain of salt, or you can etch it in your Bible. It's up to you. But my recommendation is always to keep your disputes factual. And here's the deal. Factual doesn't mean that it's valid, true, verified, yours, or anything similar. Factual means that you're not trying to flam the bureaus with general disputes, lies, or anything else. Our job is to get legal, permanent results, and the highest scores possible. Well, this is how I do it. My letters include facts, and the info is taken directly from the client's credit report. And when I construct the disputes, I follow very specific formulas. And again, you can find those videos linked in the description. So let's take a look at 19 things that you can check, and these are dispute elements per each account, okay? And some of these may look very, very familiar. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to check for blatant inaccuracies. And that doesn't always mean that you have 3 different balances or, 3 different past dues or just dates that don't make sense. It's little things that you know to be inaccurate before you ever compare bureaus, okay? So just for an example, is the account number correct? The date the account was established? The high balance? The credit limit? The terms? The frequency of payments? Status? Balance? Past due balance? Should there be a past due balance at all? What about the date last payment? What about the payment amount? First delinquency. Is it reflecting as a charge-off correctly or incorrectly? What about the charge-off amount, the date closed, type of account, responsibility section, like where it says it's authorized user, individual? What about the additional information section? Was the date last, was the notice of dispute entered? Does it say that it was disputed by consumer? Anything that is very similar to that, okay? If not, then you need to use these and capitalize to get your results. Okay, so here are your next steps. So this is what you do with this information. So this is actually where so many consumers get stuck. Let's say that you found something inaccurate on your account. Now what? I'd actually recommend checking out the videos and resources linked in the description to learn more on how to construct your disputes, the 5-part formula generated over 20,000 plus deletions in 2020, how to write your letters to get maximum results, and how to virtually remove any negative item from your credit report. So let's get to the violations. We are going over the credit bureau violations, and there are 11 of them. All right. Willfully and recklessly reporting false info after being notified of the reporting error and failing to investigate or correct the error. And this does include mixed files, inaccurate data status or last activity, inaccurate balance, inaccurate remarks, reinserting or re-reporting a previously deleted item without notifying you within 5 business days of the reinsertion, failure to respond to a dispute within 30 days or 45 days for free annual report, and just a side note here, they can add 15 days in some cases where the creditor or the consumer has provided additional info applicable to the dispute. Reporting a bankruptcy longer than 10 years from the date of adjudication, reporting a paid tax lien longer than 7 years, and just so you know, if it's unpaid, it can be 10. Failing to update or report the status and or balance of the account that was included in bankruptcy as discharged with the zero balance. Failing to provide, if requested after verification, the method of verification, including the real name, address and phone number of the furnisher within 15 days of your request, reporting a collection or charge-off longer than 7 years from the date of status or last activity. And just so you know, there are exceptions of credit transactions involving more than $150,000, the underwriting of life insurance involving over $150,000, or employment with an annual salary reasonably expected to exceed $75,000 a year. All right, we have a couple of more. Failing to notate that an item on your credit report is under dispute, in other words, notice of dispute, and we just talked about that. And yes, I see that typo right there. Reporting a record of arrest or conviction longer than 7 years, and failure to provide all relevant info to the furnisher when reasonable means to do so are available. Now, let's check out creditor violations, and some of these may look very, very, very familiar. All right. Ignoring an investigation request. And here we go again, willfully and recklessly reporting false info to the credit bureaus after being notified of the reporting error and failing to investigate or correct the error. And again, this includes mixed files, inaccurate data status or last activity, inaccurate balance, and inaccurate remarks. Reporting a charge-off account without reference to the date of status or last activity, and failure to report an account disputed by the consumer as disputed to the credit bureaus. And we got some more here. Transferring or selling an account to another company without reporting the transfer and or zero balance. I see this one all the time. Failing to update the status and or balance of an account that was included in bankruptcy as discharged with a zero balance. Falsely reporting the ownership of an account to a non-liable consumer like the spouse, family member, etc. And withholding account data with intent to negatively affect a consumer's credit score. Okay, like the credit limit. I see this all the time with Capital One and Barclays. And guess what? Capital One admitted in testimony during a lawsuit that they do this purposely. Okay, so this is where you're going to see it say high balance is credit limit or credit limit is high balance or anything to that effect. The credit limit should be the credit limit. If the credit limit is $2,500, but the high balance is only $200, that's much different than it's saying that the credit limit is the high balance, because the high balance, if it was only $200, that's way less than $2,500. So that means that they're screwing with the utilization. That's why it's so important to understand these things, okay? Failing to delete a hard inquiry that had no permissible purpose, and you can go check out my free inquiry removal webinar that was posted within the last 60 days right here on YouTube. And just so you know, permissible purpose does not mean that they just got shotgunned your application for a dealership, for a vehicle, and that you didn't, get a firm offer, okay? So it's either a firm offer of credit, employment, insurance, court order, child support, things like that. If it does not fall into any of those categories, then it does not belong on your credit report, okay? Reporting a new duplicate account after receiving notice of dispute on the old account. Reporting an account with false reference or without reference to the original creditor and or the account number. Okay, we are on the quiz section. I want to make sure that these things stay in your head. We are doing some true or false. So true or false? It is a violation to willfully and recklessly report inaccurate, date last active after being notified of the reporting error and failing to investigate or correct the error. The correct answer, of course, it is true. It is most definitely a violation, okay? Question number 2, true or false? Questioning the existence of an account is hard for the credit bureaus to prove and should be used first? The correct answer, please tell me you know the correct answer. The correct answer is false. It is not hard. It is super easy for them, and that is definitely not what you should be doing, and most definitely not first, okay? Question number 3, true or false? It is not a violation to fail to report the account as disputed to the credit bureaus. The wrong answer is true. Okay, it is a violation to fail to report the account as disputed to the credit bureaus pursuant to Section 623. All accounts should be reported as disputed within 30 days of the date that they received your first dispute. True or false? We have 19 account elements to check out for inaccuracies before we ever even talk about inconsistencies between the bureaus. The correct answer is true. We most definitely have 19 account elements to check out. That's where we were going over, is the status correct, the date last active, the past due amount. All right. Question number 5, true or false? It's best to use factual disputes because it is targeted, strategic, and tactical. There's no one size fits all. The wrong answer to this is false. Why is it false? Because it is best to use factual disputes because it's targeted, strategic, and tactical, okay? So don't fall into this whole perpetual cycle just because you're using the wrong methods, okay? Now, here are some resources for you, all right? You can continue to do this yourself, and I give you a ton of resources. Down in the description, you can access a bunch of videos that go with this video to give you more of a breakdown and understanding, or you can go check out the free subscriber hub at vault.my740.com, and there's downloads, apps, a bunch of stuff, right? And alternately, you can actually have me do it for you if I can help, if it would be a good fit. And to find out if it would be a good fit, just go to my740.com, schedule a call, and I will see if I can help, all right? Now, lastly, I have a new podcast coming out. I will post the link when it is available because I am switching platforms. So, the bottom line here is that everything you need is just one click away, whether that means doing it yourself or having me do it for you. So, thanks for watching. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. I will see you tomorrow for another daily video. And if you like this video, please smash that like. And if you are subscribed but haven't, smashed the bell for notifications yet, make sure you do so because otherwise you won't be notified of videos just like this. So that was 41 challenges and violations, 19 dispute reasons or dispute elements that you can check out, 11 creditor violations, and 11 credit bureau violations. All right. So I hope you have a wonderful day. Make sure to go down into the description, click on those links so that you can use this to capitalize and get those results. Have a great one.